All right, we're back. Episode 140. Yeah, episode 140 of the Morse Code Podcast. Dan Morse, Soapy Priya. Good to be back. Feels like it's been a while since the two of us have been able to connect on this. I don't know what you're doing if you're watching the YouTube video.
I'm giving signals.
No, I know what you're doing. I just didn't know why you were doing it.
Okay, sorry.
Now.
I'm in a mood.
It's all right.
I'm in a base running mood.
Yeah. It's good to be back. I was not on the last episode. I know it was just you and Jam. So I haven't looked at the numbers. I assume it's somehow gotten negative plays since I wasn't there. Is it that bad?
I've looked and you're correct.
Yeah. We probably lost a lot of money last week.
Yeah.
Oh, Christ. And we had Leahy on the episode before, I'm pretty sure.
Yep.
So if you're listening and you want to just like send us some money, that'd be much appreciated.
Venmos are definitely open.
We'll put our Venmos in the show notes. Do you think we would make any money if we went on OnlyFans? Like didn't do anything sexual, just literally like posted similar to what we just recorded.
Yeah. And if we just did, I don't know, just normal stuff throughout the day. I've been very curious.
Me too, actually.
Me too. I know this is nothing we plan to talk about, but like I understand like how can I phrase this the right way? People who are on OnlyFans who do like sex things will naturally get money just from like random weirdos.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. You must need like some base of followers. But I guess if you have like Twitter, Instagram followers, you can just link your OnlyFans and people will just tip you money.
Are you still talking about the people who do the sex stuff or just normal stuff?
In general, but I would assume more so on the sex stuff.
Gotcha.
From like creepo guys or girls.
Yeah. Yeah.
Again, I don't know where we fall into this equation, but
that's a good question. Like no matter how hot you are, you have to start at zero at some point. So like, how do you initially get that recognition?
I mean, I guess it's like with any social media platform. If you're starting from zero on all platforms, I would assume you have to be like very attractive to get an initial following. If you're like, for example, if I don't know, someone like Kim Kardashian went on OnlyFans tomorrow, she could make a lot of money because she already has a big, well-known, it's a household name.
Yep.
I guess we're probably thinking more like Patreon. That's probably a good stepping stone for us. If we went on Patreon and anyone wanted to pay money to listen to us, that'd be a good gauge on if we should dip our toes into OnlyFans and spice it up a little bit more.
Oops.
Did your power just go out?
I think you're right about the cable bill.
Yeah. If you're watching, Soapy's actually kind of looks sick. You kind of look like you're like one of those like anonymous people like being interviewed for a documentary.
Continue on. I can continue with or without.
Yeah, no worries. For our audio listeners, nothing's changed. Oh, there we go. And we're back. What was I going to say? So there's a lot going on right now. If you're listening to this the day it comes out, it's Tuesday, the 19th of October. NBA starts up tonight. NFL's in full swing. MLB playoffs. As you can tell, Soapy still hasn't taken his jacket off from the game the other night. A lot going on. Oh, speaking of Patreon, we don't like to give out too much of our Kraken takes for free on the free show, but coming off a tough loss to the Flyers.
Here you go anyways.
I know. We'll get into that later. Just not a lot of good things on the Kraken front so far, but we'll get into that later. You were at game 3. Let's start there of the Red Sox Houston Astros series. How was that experience?
That was fun. Met up.
Where were you sitting? Were you up high? That wasn't monster seats.
So just to the left of the monster, which is actually a really cool, like it's a cool angle to see the monster seat home runs flying.
I never realized how high up those seats were.
Yeah, it was
pretty dope.
Very cold. Probably like the first real cold night of the year in New England. But yeah, it was sweet because like ultimately I would like to sit in the Green Monster at some point, but to see like just how fast those balls are coming in at those seats.
Oh, yeah.
It was like crazy.
Oh, yeah.
Because JD smoked one.
Yeah.
And then I think it was Arroyo that hit
Schwarber's homer
one.
went the other end, though, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Let's see.
I've been up there. I've been up to the monster seats for a regular season game. I'll say this. It was kind of it was cool. It was actually a little underwhelming. Like once you get up there, it's kind of cool to be like up there, but it's, I guess outside of like catching a home run, it's probably the farthest seat away in the stadium, the highest seat in the stadium. So you know what I mean? Like it's really not a great, it's honestly like, it's kind of like a glorified like balcony seat or bleacher seat,
like were you on the left, the middle, or the right in terms of like
towards the right? Well, actually no, towards the middle. I forgot there's like kind of, it's split in half because there's like a concession in the middle, so there's some sort of breakup. So we were on the, if you're watching it from like the TV angle, we were on the right side, so I guess the left side actually.
Okay.
Of the monster. But again, I mean, it was a regular season game against like the Royals, I think. And it was cool to get up there. But those, like, I would assume those playoff seats are very expensive.
Yeah.
And you're honestly kind of like a big part of going to the games, especially playoff games, is being part of the crowd. When you're in the monster seats, you're pretty much like isolated to your group. Like it's a very limited amount of people, which I guess is a good thing or a bad thing, depending on, who you are. But
that's what I've always thought, because like in terms of getting involved in the loudness of the crowd, like first of all, those seats aren't spaced nearly as closely as they are in the rest of the stadium, because they're all individual like stools, right?
More or less, yeah.
And then everyone kind of has their own table or at least something to rest their arms on, sort of.
We were kind of like standing room Green Monster.
Yeah.
Long story short, like we just bought regular tickets. It was a mid-season game, and then shout out Jad, actually. Jad had a friend who was working there. And he was like, hey, there's some standing room only space up by the monster if you want to check it out. So we're like, yeah, sure. And that's pretty cool. But funny story, actually, it's like we were up there and we were having a good time, had a few cocktails. And like these older guys in front of us, eventually they were like, hey, just curious, like, like how much did you spend on these seats? And not really thinking about it, I was like, oh, no, like we actually didn't buy these seats. Like we had a friend who just like walked us up here. And they're like, oh, okay. In reality, they probably paid like $300 for those seats. And like we were literally a row behind them for free. So that was kind of awkward. But good game to be at. A lot of offense.
A lot of offense.
Can't argue that one.
Some would say bad pitching. On the other side. Yeah.
Yeah. I will say this is a serious take. Those games do make me nervous. Like when you unload like 10, 12 runs, I kind of like to disperse my runs, especially when you win. What was it, like 12-3, the final?
Yeah.
Curious to see what happens tonight.
You're saying as in like, what if you wasted all those runs and then
that's what I mean.
You don't get anything tonight like that?
Yeah, it's exactly what I mean. Or kind of like, kind of prematurely shoot your load from like an offensive standpoint and then shoot blanks tonight.
Oof.
I have a hot take. I don't think they're going back to Houston. I think they're going to win the next two at Fenway. I do. I think yesterday was
fan of that.
Last night was awesome. Like that's pretty demoralizing. The last two games, just getting down that big that early, I think is just like so demoralizing. And Houston has a great lineup, but they're especially on the like game 2 in Houston, at least you could argue home field advantage and stuff and have the fans on your side. Last night, like you're in hell in Boston, just going down 6-0 in the second inning. I felt much more comfortable. I felt way more comfortable about the 6-run lead last night than the 8-run lead in Houston. I think they were both in the second or third inning.
Yeah.
I know last night was 6 runs in the second after the Schwarber on a 3-0 pitch, which I've always said, what nerds have always said, bad, which I've never understood. You're getting a meatball on 3-0.
Yeah.
I would assume I'm going to crank this like 600 feet. Like some of those 3-0 pitches are literally like 65 mile per hour fastballs right down the middle because you don't think they're going to swing.
Right. And that's
Kyle Schwarber.
Yeah. That's when you should swing.
That was awesome. That was a fucking smoke.
I always thought it would be
curious
funny.
To see what happens.
Imagine if, you know how they have that ladder on the Green Monster?
Yeah.
Imagine if they sold seating there.
Yeah, that'd be fun to climb.
Or remember when the Green Monster used to have Coke bottles over it?
Those they don't anymore.
That would be a good thing. That'd be a sweet place to catch a home run or
Hanging
fall to your death.
Coke bottle.
Yeah,
for sure.
No, it was sweet. Crowd was just as loud as you would expect.
Crowd was rocking. And
it was like, considering that it was 6-0 in the second inning.
Yeah.
The crowd stayed into it like the whole game.
Yeah.
Couldn't really tell if people left from what I could tell. It was fun again to meet up with Duff Guy Pat, who I guess is technically our friend now. Technically.
Your words. But yeah.
It was him. It was Jackie Van, who's also in the Discord, but I didn't realize until a couple days ago that he was from Houston. So he was in enemy territory, flew in from Houston to go to this game.
Is he an Astros fan?
Not really. he's like as of 3 months ago, yeah, but
just
not
a Houston
born
fan.
And raised. Yeah,
gotcha. That's
so cool. Yeah, it was fun, dude. I think seeing Altuve boot, like he had an error and then he misplayed a throw.
That's a huge error.
Catcher. Yeah, that was great to see because fuck that guy.
He stinks. Yeah, he's a little rascal.
That's one guy who he's been emailing me to get on the show, and I said no.
No chance.
No, thank you, Jose.
No, yeah.
No way, Jose.
Respectfully, no. With all due respect, no way, Jose. Yeah, good call. I'm with you on that one. Pavetta tonight, right?
Yep.
I hope Leahy's listening. This is the most baseball we've talked this early in quite some time.
Enthusiastically, no less.
This is genuine. I'm excited about this series. This is fun. Playoff baseball is fun. Hot take.
I think right before we hopped on, I looked at the Braves score. They were up 4-2.
Yeah, I saw that. That'd be a great World Series.
Yeah. I have an idea.
Great content if me and Leahy went to the World Series. I know I can't. I just can't. Physically. But
I have an idea if the Braves and the Red Sox make it to the World Series.
What?
We have another friend who's from Atlanta.
He's not coming here.
I wouldn't put it past him if there's enough CPFs.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Are you talking about Julio Jones?
Yes.
Yeah, I don't think so.
I'm actually talking about Jermaine Dupri.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I don't think he would show his face here either. Anyway, what else? Where do you want to transition? We got hoops, we got Patriots, we got funny stuff on the internet. Let's go. You had some Patriots takes, right?
Yeah.
I don't want to spend. I don't have much takes on this.
Okay.
Is it in regards to the Dallas game?
Yeah, pretty much.
Oh boy, go ahead.
Okay. So, fortunately, I was coming back from my parents, so I actually only got to see the overtime. I was listening to it on the radio. I will say this. I feel like hot take, the Patriots aren't very good. Hotter take, the reason that I know that is because I feel like anytime that it doesn't matter what sport or what team, if you go back and look at a bunch of games and you're like, if we had just made this one play, or in this other game, if this one call had just gone our way, or if we had just made this one shot, we'd be 4-2 instead of 2-4. I feel like anytime that you do that, you have a bad team, because that just means that you lose close.
No, games. I think that means you have an underperforming team.
Yeah.
Like like, I don't know who else is 2-4. Like they're bad. Like their record is bad. I almost said like the Bengals. Bengals are good. What do we got here? Quick standings. Hold on, please. You're 2-4, but you're second in the AFC East. That was a big Buffalo loss last night, actually.
Could still sweep them. Haven't played them yet.
You're worse than the Steelers, worse than the Browns, tied with the Colts, worse than the Raiders, worse than the Broncos, worse than the Chiefs. Same record as the Eagles. Worse than the Bears. Worse than the Panthers. Worse than everyone in the NFC West. Yeah, they're just not very good. They don't have a good record. But what I meant to say was like those other teams that are traditionally bad and are usually 2-4, they don't say those things. You know,
right?
If different things happen, yeah, whatever. But we're not going to take that serious. Patriots should be 4-2. Like they going into the season, 4-2 would be an acceptable record. This is just bad. I remember last week or last time I was on, we were sarcastically saying yeah, actually, like, you know, analytical nerds will say win-loss matters. Haha. Like it does. Like you're 2-4. Like you are kind of screwed. You have to knock out 2 in a row to get to 500 by week 8. You have to knock out 2. Like it's going to be a stretch to get to 500 by mid-season. That sounds like last year. This is what last year was. And soon it's going to be path talk, and it's way too early to have path talk, or too late rather to have path talk.
Yeah, I mean, I guess my bigger point is that like a lot of teams will look back on close games and be like, "Oh, we were inches away from this being completely different." And I feel like if you're actually a good team and you pull out those wins, you never look back at those and be like, man, we almost lost this or we almost lost that.
I know what you mean.
In the reverse situation, it's like, well, the reason that you didn't make those plays is because you're not capable of making those plays. It's not like you didn't miss out on that stuff because you're like, ah, man, that was just kind of a fluke or a blip on the radar. Like, no, that's just kind of who you are. All the stupid mistakes or stupid decision making, which is hilarious that Bill Belichick is now in this situation no one's going to take away the previous Super Bowls, obviously, but people are like the gap between who is more important is getting bigger and bigger by the week.
That's done. Yeah, that's done.
But it's getting like to a comic disparity.
Yeah, I agree. And like you said, they're not going to take anything away from the last 20 years, but I do think, let's say they continue on this path and finish the season. And let's say they finish, I don't even know what the new numbers are. What's 2 games above 500? 10-8? No.
So 9 can't be two games above 500. I don't think.
Whatever. Say they're like 10 say they're 500. Fuck it. Yeah. Say they're 500, which again, they're not on path to be 500. Yeah. So say they're 500, which they also can't be.
Right. 8.5 and 8.5.
Dude, I hate this shit. Like, what a stupid rule, like to change it to 17 games.
Okay. If they go 8-1.
Yeah, whatever. Like football, like everybody knew football math, right?
Yeah.
8-8, 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. Whatever. You're an average team. I honest to God, I really don't even think it makes a difference if they sneak into the playoffs or not. Let's say they miss the playoffs. I think 2 full seasons is a decent enough sample size to be like, this isn't a very well coached team.
Yeah.
Like Bill Belichick tricked y'all for like 20 years. And it's not saying he's like a bum, but I think he's a coach who needs good talent around him to be successful. And he just happened to have the best player of all time at the most important position for the last 20 years. Because with that being said, it's like, there's been a lot of frustrating decisions. I think a lot of decision-making that's really maybe exposed. Like, I think Josh McDaniels has been exposed. Like, people have been talking about his play calling for a long time, but I think Brady kind of covered it up for a couple of reasons. A, he's good enough to cover it up. And B, I saw this going around recently. It's like those clips of Tom Brady coming off the sideline just yelling at Josh McDaniels. Like, I'm not, like, you're an idiot. I'm not running these plays. Or literally just audibling at the line of scrimmage. I don't think Mac Jones really audibles. Like, when Brady audibled, he made it known he was audibling.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I mean? I just think he calls the plays, which again, it's not his fault. He's a rookie. I don't expect him to flip off Bill Belichick from the huddle. That Cowboys game was frustrating because you should win that game. Yeah. No thanks.
He just looks at his the play sheet on his wrist and
yeah. No. Just tears it out and crumples it up and eats it. It's just like, I almost feel bad for him because it's like that touchdown to Bourne was off. Like, that should be, you should win that game.
Yeah.
Like, he deserves to win that game. The other one that's getting a little traction I've seen is that drop by Aguilar in overtime. That's a walk-off touchdown.
Mm-hmm.
That would have been very cool. Huge confidence booster. Instead, we're going to punt, give it to Dak, who's, I think, are at that time racked up 400 yards already. And just a cakewalk CeeDee Lamb touchdown to win. Getting walked off at home in football blows. Because I don't know, did you see like the close up, like CeeDee Lamb just waving off JC Jackson or whoever? That's so demoralizing. That's like that doesn't happen to the Patriots in like the last 20 years.
And it should never happen like from the Cowboys either. A team that historically is an underachiever.
Yeah, absolutely.
And that
was a tough one.
Like I've listened to plenty of Felger and Maz this week. There were plenty of times that the Cowboys tried to give the game back to you, and like they made a lot of errors. What do you think was the worst or most egregious error decision making on the Patriots' part? Because I think it was the kneeling with 1:30 to go in the half.
Yeah, I guess there's got to be stuff closer to the actual end of the game, though. I just there's just too many drives where it's like, I think they had another like 3-screen drive, or like first and second down, those stupid ass screens. Again, the tight ends were irrelevant. And it's just, there's no one you can really depend on to make plays. And that's really, and I don't know if it was maybe us as fans overhyping this offseason and some of their acquisitions, but I don't know. It's not great. That drop by Nelson Aguilar was just like, all right, like this is who we are. This is where this is going. And again, it's like, I'm still going to watch every game. I hope they make the playoffs. I think they still can make the playoffs. I think they can beat the Jets. I think it's Jets and Chargers, right? Next two games. Ugh. I don't know. Beat the Jets. Like I said, the good news is they still play Buffalo twice, and Buffalo already has 2 losses.
Yeah.
So those right now, I guess I would assume the most I like winning out your division is a must. Like they have to win. If they win out the division, that's huge. AKA 2 games against Buffalo. The others, I think they'll beat Miami. I think they can beat the Jets again. Buffalo might be tough, but I don't think they're intimidating anymore. Like I don't think coming in, they haven't won at home. Like I don't think coming to Gillette anymore is what it used to be. And I don't think like the Patriots coming into your stadium is what it used to be. They almost went to Houston and lost. So yeah, I don't know. I'm trying to stay positive. I just think it's going to be a very long season. Dude, if they lose to the Jets next week, I might be out. I might like pull a Jim Murray and get the nails and just call it a day. Just go all in on my fantasy team. See what we can do.
I just remembered one final point.
Yeah.
The offensive line definitely isn't exactly helping. Mac Jones.
Oh God. One great hit on Mac Jones. We haven't oh boy.
Dude. He got tattooed.
He really did.
The thing that I realized, or I was looking it up to see the Pats schedule.
Yeah.
I'm sure this happens, but it's pretty late. They don't have a bye week until December 13th.
Yeah, I saw you post that. That's wild.
Okay, so that is 14. Really late, right?
Right?
Yeah.
That's insane.
Usually it ends in November, right?
Yeah, I'm trying to think. That week 14 sounds absurd. That sounds crazy. That's like 4/5 of the season.
Yeah.
So what do they come back and play 3 games?
They come back. They come back off the bye week on December 20th.
That's Christmas. That's absurd.
Yeah. So basically, like, if this keeps up, I know you played football in high school. Did you play with or against anyone whose like head was detached from their bodies? Because I feel like there's a
couple of
chance.
Guys.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So it's not unprecedented, but it's definitely not preferred.
Oh no, he has a chance to get killed.
Yeah. I was like, damn, this guy has it's gonna be all gas, no brakes, as you like to say, until Christmas. Yeah, I don't know how the fuck he's gonna survive.
Jets, Chargers, There's not a gimme on the schedule. I'm definitely not counting the Jets as a gimme next week. Jets, Chargers, Panthers, Browns, who I think also stink. Falcons on Thursday night. What do we got? Titans. When the fuck do we play the Bills? Yeah, we don't play the Bills till December 6th.
Oh, play them, then a little bye week, and then play them again.
Good point. Yeah. Bills Monday night, bye week. And then hold on, where the heck is it? Oh, maybe this is at Colts.
Okay.
Jeez Louise. Yeah, this path is interesting. This is gonna be tough. They're gonna need I remember last year the game was Baltimore. Remember when they beat Baltimore? At that point, it was like, all right, we're kind of on a path now. And then they lost like a bunch of games to someone.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I don't know. Like again, they're not much more fun to watch than last year. I think Mac's a little more fun to watch than Cam, but it's frustrating because like Mac will have a really good series and then they'll do one of their 3-and-out drives on, toss plays and dog shit screens and someone will drop a pass or something. Or Hunter Henry will catch a 3-yard pass falling onto the ground. Wide open too, for whatever reason.
Maybe a lot of tip ball interceptions. Maybe it's just kind of been hyper focused in the last couple weekends, but I feel like there's a lot of Sunday was throws that are
right. That's not great. That's as good as a drop.
Yeah,
like that's worse than a drop actually. But it's like he's
even nerds would agree with that.
Yeah, it's just God. That's so frustrating. I don't know. Do you think Mac Jones demands a trade at the trade deadline? I can't play with these guys. Send me to, I don't know, somewhere.
Can I re-enroll at Alabama?
Yeah, can I just go back to school and like win another national championship? Is that on the table? What else? Any other NFL notes from this week? I'm trying to think. Nothing really funny happened. Derrick Henry had another ridiculous game, which I saw on Twitter brought up the screenshot of Derrick Henry's high school numbers again. Which is like borderline child abuse.
Yeah.
I think he had like over like 300 carries his senior year.
Imagine if he just put like the entire defense in the hospital.
Maybe.
I assume he probably did.
Dude, what's scary about him is like running backs are so hard to gauge, maybe from like a fantasy perspective. He's shown no signs of slowing down. Like he's just getting more carries, somehow getting healthier and scoring more touchdowns.
Stronger and faster every week.
Yeah, I don't quite follow. But that's just kind of is what it is. I saw a thing today. He ran his run last night. He was clocked at like 20 something miles per hour, which they said was the fastest play of the season, which baffles my mind because someone that size with that like type of running ability, I never thought he'd even be in consideration for like the Tyreek Hill or like those guys type of like breakaway plays.
Yeah.
That's quite literally like a car going 20 miles per hour. I don't know if this is a take or not. Like I wouldn't want to have to be tasked with having to stop like a car going 20 miles per hour. I don't know. Honestly, if I had to choose like between tackling a car going like 10 miles per hour or Derrick Henry going 25, I might lean towards the car.
It would definitely be close.
Yeah. That'd be a good one for like man versus what was that show called? Man versus Wild?
Wait, Sports Science?
Yeah, maybe that's what I'm thinking. There wasn't a show where you had to like tackle
running back versus car.
Yeah.
That show?
Yeah, that's the one. I remember it was the show that had Chad Johnson race a horse.
Oh.
Or maybe that was just like a weird one-off thing that he
I think it was a weird one-off thing. Because there was that other show, Pros versus Joes, but that was two humans though.
Yeah, I guess you're
one
right.
very good human and one Joseph-like human.
Yeah, I'm just looking at that thing you just texted me.
Can you describe that play? Because that was one good one that I saw.
I don't think I saw this play. What is this? Chiefs in Washington from over the weekend. Shoot, hold on. Patrick Mahomes is getting killed this year. Yeah, so it's a pretty simple. I think it was Chase Young who got to him. Kind of drags him down, but Patrick Mahomes decides to throw it anyway for some reason. Lobs it up to 4 Washington defenders. One of the 3 catches it. And it's 1st and 10, WFT. Chiefs don't look great this year either.
No, I can't believe that.
But if they played Sunday, it'd be minus 14.5 Chiefs.
Oh my God.
Without question. I have way more confidence in them turning it around. Where are you at as far as like Super Bowl predictions and like power rankings and stuff? You, Shawnee O, mentioned the Cardinals. I think the Rams preseason. They both look pretty good.
Yeah. Are the Cardinals still the only undefeated?
Think so. Yeah.
Damn. Kyler has to be like head and shoulders the MVP candidate. Maybe with Lamar right behind them.
Yeah, Lamar's tough to. Yeah, Arizona 6-0, Rams 5-1, Tampa's 5-1.
Oh yeah, and fucking Brady too.
Yeah, Packers are 5-1 after getting smoked week 1 to the Saints. Packers might be the best team in the league. Dallas is 5-1, of course.
What would I equate the Packers to in another league? I would say the Packers remind me of the Oakland A's. Hot take. The Oakland A's of our childhood.
I know what you mean. Like consistently in the playoffs, but you just know they're never going to win the World Series.
Yeah, I think they're better than that. Or you
simply mean like the color schemes?
No, I think they're better than that. But in the end, the result is the same.
Yeah, I guess they have like star power though.
Yeah,
aka Aaron Rodgers. Yeah, I guess. I think I don't know. Like, what's interesting is like I really don't put much of it on Aaron Rodgers because it's not like Aaron Rodgers has like shitty. He's not like Clayton Kershaw who like just shrinks in the playoffs. Right. I feel like he's still very good. He just either faces a really good team or Mike McCarthy. One of the two. That's tough losing a game to Mike McCarthy on the road or at home for the Patriots, but Mike McCarthy on the road. He stinks.
I'm sure you heard his reaction.
Mike McCarthy's?
Yeah, his post-game press conference.
I don't know. What do you say? I saw Maz ripping on him the other day.
Yeah, he was talking about how it was a huge win. They overcame a lot of obstacles. They fought back, yada yada. The way he made it sound was like it was their biggest win of the season, and as if this wasn't the post Tom Brady Patriots. Like he made it sound like he was going up against the 07.
They're 4-point favorites.
Yeah, I don't know what the fuck he was talking about.
And they won by, a last-minute touchdown. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, unserious franchise. Like they're 5-1, but they're also, or are they 5-1? I think. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another team not to take seriously. I have a really
0% chance.
I have a really quick question for you, and I don't have an answer to this.
Okay.
If we've kind of discussed it before, how many? Let's see here. Okay.
Yeah, choose your words carefully.
Yeah. You have to give up 4 Patriots Super Bowls in exchange for that perfect season. So you actually end up with 3 total Super Bowls.
Yeah, no chance.
Because you're giving 4, getting back 1.
No, I think that's maybe if I was like a kid, but at this point, it's like no way. Like I think people are weirdos who like hang on to stuff like that. Dude, I don't even know if Dolphins fans still like hang on to that. At this point, I think it's been so long ago. Maybe Larry.
Yeah, that's true.
I was just trying to think. I don't know. It would have been cool for maybe a little bit, but I also equate it to the fact that with the Patriots, not to sound like whatever, but like after like the third one, it was like, okay, like this is probably going to be the norm. We're going to be competitive in the conversation for a while. Like this is the norm. If that was like a one-up, like the Eagles or like a team that was kind of like a one-off Super Bowl champion, maybe. But I just think the perfect season was not, it's kind of just like a talking point. Like it makes no difference any of the other Super Bowls.
Yeah.
I thought losing that Super Bowl, I think it made losing that Super Bowl hurt a little more just because I think like going into that Super Bowl at the time, us drawing the Giants was like too good to be true. Like, wow. I think they were a wild card team that year. And we caught the Giants and that was just like the ultimate trap game. But no, I wouldn't do that. Why would you?
I was trying to think of the scenario in which I would.
What would the benefit now be to having that? Like you would still talk about that?
Yeah, I only thought about it because like I recently saw the highlights of the that stupid snowball 59-0 game against the Titans. Sure. Yep. And I just thought about like every time I see highlights of Randy Moss and Brady from 07, like the first thing I think of is how the fuck did this team not win the title?
That's a good point.
If I was to do it, I would keep the first Super Bowl. You have to keep that one. And I would keep the obviously 07. And then I would keep probably 28-3. Because then you have basically one Super Bowl from every era or every like 6 to 10 years, basically.
Yeah. It's natural to split it up into 3. Yeah, they didn't win one in the middle.
That's the only way I would do it.
That's a good one. Yeah, that's a good one. What was I going to say? I would like it it would be nice for, not that Brady needs to add more to his legacy, but maybe for Randy Moss retiring without a ring stinks.
That's the biggest thing.
You know? And if his one ring was off an undefeated record season, even better. Not that he needs it either, but I think that would be cool. Mm-hmm. I think he would want that. What else is going on? Thoughts on Ben Simmons' situation?
It's funny.
It's hilarious. It's so good. It's so like, it really hit home with, and it took me a while this morning to figure out what's real and what wasn't, because a lot of the stuff didn't sound real. Like that photo of Ben Simmons at practice with his phone in his pocket, I didn't think was real. Turns out it was. I think the first one was it yesterday when the story broke out about him not participating in the huddle?
Yeah.
The team break at the end of the day.
Sixers on 3.
Yeah. Nah, no thanks.
I'm good.
Ben, get in. Come on. Nah, I don't want to be here at all. And it's like, part of me says, like, what do you expect to happen? He told you he didn't want to be here.
Mm-hmm.
You can't expect him to come in and just, I'm surprised he showed up at all. I'm still surprised they didn't figure something out prior to the first day of practice. From every angle, from the Sixers, from Ben, from Rich Paul, and from the teams who are interested in acquiring him. I don't know how you didn't get a deal done. Probably most of it's on Daryl Morey, I would think, at this point, with some of the story, like some of the trade offer declines that are coming out. I thought worst case scenario was not having a deal done and him having to show up to practice. And I think this is definitely worse. I think like it proved to be worst case scenario.
Mm-hmm.
I can't imagine a day at work going any worse than how it went over the last 48 hours. It also got real, I think, during Joel Embiid's interview too, when he's just like, I don't give a shit about this person. Like Ben Simmons can't come back at this point. It's impossible.
That was tough.
Yeah, he can't come back. So you've got to figure something out today. If that story's true about, I think it was Lonnie Walker and Dejounte Murray for Ben Simmons, and Morey said no, like that, I pulled the trigger immediately. If I'm getting a literal, like a player who understands the rules of basketball and can partake in the game, I would probably say yes. And maybe a second round draft pick. I don't know. Like, I just don't get what he's looking for.
Yeah.
I genuinely think he's waiting for like the Blazers to call and be like, hey, Dame in a second for like Ben Simmons and someone else. Like that's not going to happen. Like, who do you think's the best? Like, what do you think? Do you think and it's not like he's a free agent, so he's not deciding where he wants to go. Like, I don't know what the option is. I don't know where he could go right now. Like, if Morey's saying no to that Murray and Walker trade, I think I said this in our group chat today. It's like GMs across the league are going to see that and be like, okay, I wasn't planning on offering anything that good, so I'm just obviously not going to waste my time and like call. Like, I was going to offer a second round pick and, like a bench player or something. If you don't want that, then I'm just going to continue on with my day. The season starts in 12 minutes ago. Like, what are we doing? Philly must play tomorrow, right?
Yeah. Yep. And that's what he's suspended for.
Play. Sick. He must be pissed.
I wonder. I don't know. What if the whole Simmons for Kyrie thing happens? What a fucking story that would be.
I would do that in a heartbeat. Both sides of the table. That's a win-win.
Mm-hmm.
Because neither of them are playing for their team. So you might as well trade them for each other.
Right. And now Kyrie has actually come out and said that he doesn't have any intentions of actually retiring.
No. Oh, they're going to say get vaccinated. If I'm the Nets, I know Kyrie's not going to play for me. And if I'm the Sixers, I know Ben Simmons is going to play for me. There's no benefit to keeping either of them.
Mm-hmm.
Call it a day. Take your chances. Your risk with Kyrie is he might retire, or he might just go full into this. Your risk with Ben Simmons is he's probably perceived as an asshole right now, and he's not very good, and he's overpaid. I think Kyrie wins in a landslide in that deal. Like the team who gets Kyrie.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, obviously, I think he's a better player anyway, but with all the extra baggage, I think Ben Simmons' baggage far outweighs Kyrie's at this point. If he's not in one of those vaccine mandated states, I think he'll just be Kyrie.
Yeah.
Can't play at Brooklyn or at, oh no, visiting players can play, can't they?
Yeah.
So you're good. You that'd be a steal. I don't think it's just such a weird scenario, because in any other scenario, of course, Brooklyn wouldn't do that. But Brooklyn's one of two franchises who can employ Kyrie and they can't play him at home games. So it's almost like it's the perfect trade.
I would love to see that.
Me too. And honestly, they're kind of good fits on each team.
Yeah.
Kyrie's a great fit in Philadelphia. And I think Ben Simmons is a great fit in Brooklyn. He doesn't have to play offense. You have two of the best defensive players in NBA history.
Yeah.
Say that
because that team, I was saying, yeah, I think he would be an awesome fit for the Nets because, number one, he doesn't have to play offense.
Nope.
He is a really good passer. And number two, that great team defender. Doesn't really play defense. And he's a great defender.
You have great defense at the guard position, and you don't need to play offense. That's about as perfect as a trade as you can do.
Mm-hmm.
And I can't imagine either party saying no to that. Maybe, I was going to say maybe Brooklyn, but like, why? You're just holding on to a player who refuses to play. Oh boy, I don't know. Do you see Tatum got traded to the Lakers today? Wearing number 24.
I watched that fucking video, and I hate that was the first thing that came to my mind was that's going to be used by Laker fans on Twitter.
I tweeted out today, like, I'm trying to find a way to respectfully say, like, I hate this. I think it's a terrible look. I really hate it. I'm a big Kobe fan, RIP, everything, but there's no one else in the league who, apparently everybody looks up to Kobe since they were born. That's come out in the last 2 years. There's no one else you could find to do this commercial.
Yeah, they should have had to put like LeBron in a Larry Bird jersey or something.
Oh boy, that'd be tough too.
LeBron doing the steal against Detroit.
Oh boy.
And there's a steal by Bird.
Yeah. Them putting LeBron in like that Dave Chappelle, like white face from Chappelle's show and doing Larry Bird impersonation. Oh man. I still haven't watched that Chappelle stand up. I know I need to.
Oh, rest in peace to Colin Powell. And I only say this. I don't.
Go
whatever.
ahead.
Colin Powell, okay. You're dead.
Yeah, he died.
But I bring it up because it brought up the racial draft skit.
Yeah.
Dude, that one is so fucking funny.
I really need to rewatch that one. At the time I was really never a fan of that one, but that's good comedy. That was like peak comedy where like everybody was on the table. Everybody got it.
Having Bill Burr in those skits was so good too. A young Bill Burr.
Bill Burr is great. Like, man, Bill Burr is Bill Burr is just not built for today's like comedians.
No,
unfortunately, because he's hilarious, and he's like, I think we've talked about this multiple times. Just like stand-up comedy in general. I think it was like when he went on SNL, and at that point, it was like 5 years prior to his SNL skit, that would have been perceived worldwide as just, this is Bill Burr as being hilarious, and it was like everything but at the time. But I genuinely don't understand how to perceive stand-up comedy anymore. Like how people are supposed, like how stand-up comedians are supposed to do stand-up comedy.
That's exactly what I was about to say. I don't know how can you tell someone how to joke when we all bought the ticket and we all watched this?
Right. Yeah. Who's like an eligible punchline?
Right.
You have to say like a knock joke or something. Like most punchlines of a joke are aimed at something or someone. Yeah. You know what I mean? Like it's just
what it is. There's a way to do it.
Oh no. I'm not. I know what you're saying. Like,
no, I'm saying my way to do it.
Oh, that's the worst way to do it. That's never the way to do it. But you know what I mean? It's like I'm just trying to think of like well-known like stand-up acts or jokes where it's just like a neutral punchline. Like someone is the butt of the joke, obviously.
It's really tough. There is one guy I watch who kind of does that, but it's a very niche market kind of.
Yeah. Who?
It's like observational. His name is Nate Bargatze. I think he's really funny, but it's more like observational comedy where someone still has to be the butt of his joke, and it's usually himself.
That's the only way that you can really. Usually it's either themselves or that person's race, religion, whatever. Yeah. Nationality. Like Sebastian Maniscalco makes fun of Italian people. He's Italian. Chris Rock will make fun of black people. Bill Burr will make fun of white people. Like, that's a big part of it. I think it's when you go outside that realm where it can get now, especially nowadays, quote unquote, controversial. And again, there's a difference between jokes and just like being on stage, shitting on, like making fun of people. There is definitely a line. And I think that's obviously where it's at with Chappelle right now. Again, I haven't seen it. And I think it also
that's pretty much it.
Yeah. I think it also gets into a different conversation when it becomes like repeated.
Yeah.
Like more than one stand-up aimed at the same group of people. It's like, okay, like, are you telling jokes or are you just telling us how you feel about certain people? Because at this point, it's not a joke. It's kind of like this is kind of like your MO, like, or it's kind of like your narrative.
Like, dude,
it was funny the first 3 Netflix specials.
You've only got a few specials to like try out some new content here. You might want to.
Yeah, boy.
That's my ultimate beef with it is. I can understand how someone can be offended. I wasn't because it is stand-up comedy. But if you are, I can totally see why you would be, because exactly as you said, without even having seen it, it's less like he's making jokes and more like he's trying to get people to like agree with him in his fight against like basically the internet and people that are trying to get him out of here. And it's like, well, dude, are you trying to be funny or are you trying to make a point? And if people like laugh at the points that he's trying to make, then it's like, well, you're not really laughing at jokes anymore. You're kind of just, it sounds like you're agreeing with him, sort of.
Yeah, I hear you. It's almost kind of like, when a comedian will like single someone out in the crowd and like make fun of them. Yeah, that's funny once, but if you rattle off like 6 or 7 jokes, like an hour's worth of jokes of this one couple in the front row, then it's like, okay, like, are you still in your act? Or are you just like, do you have a vendetta against this person?
You're hammering them.
It's almost, actually, speaking of Dave Chappelle, it's like a Nutty Professor. Dave Chappelle's character in Nutty Professor, when he makes one pretty funny joke about Sherman and they laugh it off, the next one he says, okay, like the laughs are getting a little more uncomfortable. And then it's just a montage of like the next half an hour of him just making fun of Sherman Klump for being fat. It's like, okay, like, are you trying to get a joke off or do you hate fat people? Like, what are we doing here? That is a great character. Reggie.
Women be shopping, baby.
Yeah.
He's right. They do shop.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But yeah, that's, you don't even need to really watch a fucking special based on what you said.
Well, that's what I'm afraid
essentially
of.
What it is.
I don't want to be that person, though, who just sees a viral clip and makes a judgment. I do want to watch it. If the routine stinks, it stinks. But I've heard it's funny. I've heard it's bad. I've heard multiple things. So I'll be the judge of that. But
I think when you start repeating jokes, it naturally becomes less funny too.
I think that's just the way it goes. Like, it's almost like a watered down version of like the Harvey Dent thing. Like, you live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Not the villain, but if you put out 15 stand-up specials, you're going to run out of funny things to say. Especially, I think, when your peak was so high. Like, Killing Them Softly and For What It's Worth are maybe the two greatest stand-up comedy specials I've ever seen. Yeah. Where do you go from there? You know, and again, people forget he also took like 10 years off in between. Imagine if he was just doing this consistently that whole time. Like, by this point, they would just be so lame. I think Kevin Hart was the same way. Kevin Hart, and you've talked about this, Kevin Hart's first few stand-ups I think were awesome. And then you're just oversaturated. It's like you're running out of your like impressions are getting old, like the same like characters you know, storytell around are getting old. It gets old. It's hard to do that for a long time. Kind of like the dunk contest. Like you're going to run out of stuff to do. And then it just becomes routine and kind of lame. So I don't know how that got brought up, but I know it's something we've talked about before. So we're now
Colin Powell somehow.
Colin Powell, yeah, that's right. I was going to say we're an hour into our NBA preview episode of the 2021 season. The Ben Simmons, that's what we're talking about, Ben Simmons. Ben Simmons, hilarious, bro. I don't know where this is going. As a Celtics fan, I don't hate it. I hope it can persist and they're just a mess. You know, if it's like Shake Milton and Tyrese Maxey at point guard in Philly, I feel pretty good about that.
Yeah.
But it's also, here's the other thing. It's like Ben Simmons is coming off a terrible stretch. I wouldn't mind, from what I saw in the playoffs, I wouldn't mind facing that as a Celtics fan.
I was going to say, we never had an issue even when he was on the team.
I was going to say, it's not an on-court thing. To a different level, it's almost like with Kyrie. It's like, if Kyrie doesn't play, I still think the Nets are the best team in the East. Like, you have two elite scorers, two all-time scorers. The way the NBA works now, it's like first team to 150. Like, and they can be that team any given night.
Yeah.
So I don't think Kyrie makes a difference from a basketball perspective. That's why I think you're spot on. Kyrie for Ben Simmons, straight up. Make it happen. Anything else from you on the NBA? Any storylines you're looking forward to? Any
only one.
Go ahead.
I think it's very unfair and very mean of Giannis to have allegedly developed a jump shot. That seems terrifying. Very mean.
That's almost as scary as Derrick Henry running 25 miles per hour.
Yeah.
In the open field.
Like, I thought we were out here having fun and playing a game, but apparently he wants to like be really good.
I think if he just has a go-to mid-range jump shot, that's scary. If he doesn't need to get in the paint to score, that's scary. If he can, I don't know, 2 for 5, that's way too many shots. Couple threes a game, 1 3 a game. That's interesting too. If he gets to the point where you have to respect him at 3, that's scary for that Bucks team.
Yeah, it's over. Because how the fuck would you defend
it's
him?
over. If he goes from being the best interior player to a really good mid-range player to a respectable perimeter player, yeah, that's pretty scary. That's pretty scary.
You can tell, like, it looks different too, because I noticed the shot looks faster and his arms aren't like, he's less Rondo like, and his arms are actually, his elbows are like tucked in, and I was like, oh fuck, yeah, he clearly he didn't rest on his laurels, as you're famous for doing.
Yep. What are his MVP odds? I feel like he's just the best player. He's just like, I think he's the most valuable player for the majority of the last few years.
Yeah.
There's one MVP odd I really like. I think it was Harden, was like 2,500 or something crazy. That seems like good money, considering I think Kevin Durant can get hurt at any given time.
Yeah.
James Harden plus 1,800, but I know he was 25 at one point. Russell Westbrook has the same MVP odds as Anthony Davis.
That doesn't make sense.
The third option is not going to win MVP on the Lakers. Devin Booker is plus 2,000. So here it is right now. This is of today. No, excuse me. I haven't fact checked that yet. This is from last Wednesday. Hold on. I don't think DraftKings has MVP odds, right?
I was curious. I haven't looked.
I always have a tough time finding those. 4 days ago. This is as close as we're going to get. All right. Jesus Christ. The long shots. Higher than 2,500. Oh, I kind of like how they do this. Ignore So the sharps are saying don't bet these long shots. Paul George at plus 4,000, Zion Williamson at plus 4,000. I'd agree with that.
Yeah.
I hope Leahy's listening. They're going to tell you to bet the two they have that are good bets for long shots. Both plus 3,000. Donovan Mitchell and Jason Tatum, equal MVP odds.
Wow.
I like Jason Tatum as a dark horse MVP this year. Donovan Mitchell never crossed my mind. Like what can he do more than he's already done to get into the MVP conversation? They were a 1 seed. He's been the best player on a home court advantage team for definitely they were the 1 seed last year, right?
Yeah.
And then the year before, I think they were pretty good. I don't see that happening at all.
I'm going to say something that Leahy will like.
Oh, that Rudy Gobert depoy.
No, even if Donovan Mitchell has the best season of his career, the media is never going to be on his side enough for the narrative for him to get the MVP. Like no one, people pay way more attention to Tatum nationally than Mitchell in terms of that MVP odds that you just listed. So yeah, that one seems ridiculous.
Like who was the last non-household name to win MVP? Giannis? Like going into a season? The MVP is decided now. Whoever's number one, it is.
I would have said it was Jokic was the last non-household name.
Yeah, you're right. Actually, that's a good point. That's a good point.
But before last year, Derrick Rose maybe was the smallest name.
So this is interesting. The contenders. This is anyone plus 1,000 through plus 2,500. The sharps say don't bet LeBron. LeBron's plus 1,000. I think that is interesting. That basically means LeBron's an MVP favorite. There can't be that many people less than plus 1,000. Dame's plus 12. Jokic is plus 14. Trae Young is 2,000. Booker's 2,000. Anthony Davis is 2,500. To me, this says people think Anthony Davis is going to get hurt. Because if the season plays out, there's no way Trae Young and Devin Booker, I think, are higher MVP candidates than Anthony Davis.
And I don't
truly think he's just washed out by LeBron, which is possible. Yeah. But Devin Booker, no. Trae Young, no. An Atlanta Hawk is not going to win the MVP. Here it is. A good bet, James Harden plus 2,500. Absolutely. But that's gone down to 1,800. I just want to see who's the favorite. Luka, 425. I feel like Luka's been the MVP favorite every year for the last 3 years. KD 7, Embiid 7, Steph 750.
I don't think the Mavericks are going to be good enough for Luka to win it.
Nah. This website has their all up the take out a second mortgage favorite is Giannis plus 650.
I don't hate it.
Necessarily disagree with that. Yeah. What's tough, and we talked about this, I feel like once you win once, let alone twice, I think they look at it. I think they're naturally going to compare it to your other MVP years.
Yeah.
Which I still think he can outdo, like you said, especially with a jump shot. And now that the Bucks still have a good chance, I think, to finish as the ones no worse than a 2 seed. And I can't imagine anyone else being over the Nets or the Bucks next year. Not Philly, maybe Boston, maybe Miami, maybe Cleveland. So I think
maybe the Magic.
Yeah, Orlando's a sleeper team this year.
They're literally magicians, and the Wizards.
Oh, fuck. I didn't think of that either.
They could cast a few spells.
That'd be a fun Eastern Conference Finals.
Wizards Magic
at Hogwarts. Neutral site game.
Neutral, yeah.
Midnight Madness at Hogwarts. Yeah, I don't know. If I had to guess who wins MVP, again, I just think since they've been talking about Luka so much, and since he's already the preseason favorite, Luka would have to have a pretty shitty year, I think, not to win it. But I do kind of like LeBron. I don't even know. It seems weird to call LeBron a sleeper for MVP, but I do think there's a big year out of LeBron coming. Washed king, they call him.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think he likes all this not the best player in the league talk going around.
Yeah, and maybe this is the one that he gets that we look back on as was like, this is the final one, like towards the end of his career.
Mm-hmm. When's the last time Brady won MVP? He won one pretty late, didn't he?
I want to say 17.
Yeah, it was. Hold, please. Thomas Edward Patrick Brady. Oh, boy. Most valuable player, 2017. Yeah. What was that year?
The Eagles Super Bowl loss.
Oh, geez. That's right. Yeah, he was really good that year. I think LeBron is definitely in his Brady years now.
Yeah.
Like these are like not quite, I don't think quite like the 40 plus years, but like the like Brady 38, 39 years. Which is crazy comparing an older football player to a younger basketball player. As the younger basketball player not caught up to his age yet. But yeah, the other thing about LeBron is like kind of like we were talking about with Leahy in the group chat, he's like that hourglass is dwindling as far as like championship window. Like if he wants to add titles to his legacy, he's almost has to get one this year.
Yeah.
At least within the next 2 years. And I am curious, as far as like storylines go, teams I'm most interested in, I think outside of the Celtics, Lakers, I think have to be number one. Now that we kind of know where the Kyrie thing is going. Maybe Philly. But I am very curious to see how this Lakers team operates. I think it could definitely go one of two ways. Bad versus good.
Okay.
Are those two ways. Seriously, like LeBron and AD are great. Russ is good, but when was the last time Russ was number 3?
2012.
Yeah, like seriously, I don't know. And he still put up good numbers, but
Actually, he was second that year.
Yeah, I think he sneakily put up numbers. I'll say his numbers don't correlate with winning the last like handful of years. Mm-hmm. So it's going to be curious how he meshes with that team because everyone around him, you know, like Melo, Dwight, Rondo, Avery Bradley went to the Lakers, right? Who's the youngest player on the Lakers?
Talen Horton-Tucker.
Yeah.
THT.
Yeah.
They lost Caruso.
They lost Caruso. Did they draft? Do they have rookies?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't think they know.
I don't think I think they forfeit their draft pick to sign Trevor Ariza to an extension.
No more Carlito Kuzma.
I actually heard an interesting one the other day I meant to ask you, but I want to look this up real quick. And when I heard, I meant I wanted to ask you.
Okay.
But I do want to check one person's numbers before I do. Hold, please. 12. Okay. Maybe this is a hot take. If you're listening, just hold on one second. Typing something into my smartphone. If you're watching, quite frankly, I don't care what you do. Is 2021 Carmelo Anthony a superior upgrade to 2021 Kyle Kuzma?
Oh, yeah.
You think?
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's asking a lot of the old man.
I'd like to see what are his odds for
MVP.
6 man of the year 6 man.
I don't think he's not going to start.
I just saw their starting lineup for tonight, and he's not in it.
Ugh.
Unless he's
spoiler alert. Changed his name THT to Russell Westbrook. That's a good point. I think Melo in a LeBron team could be fun. If he just says, "Hey, I'm cool with just being a catch and shoot guy," that could be fun. Well, actually, this is a 6-man catch and shoot, and when he's in there with the twos, he could still do a little Melo.
He can dribble and shoot as well.
Yeah. Fuck it. Let him dribble. Let him shoot.
Catch, dribble, and shoot.
Triple threat Melo. Yeah, fuck. Do them all. Touch them all. Sixers will be interesting. Thoughts on the Celtics? Feeling good?
I was until Robert Williams started popping up with some injuries again. That fucking sucks. Yeah, Jaylen Brown and Horford are both out with COVID still.
That's a gut punch.
Pretty sure Jaylen Brown is unvaccinated because he never said that he was distinctly.
Yep.
So that makes me think he's not.
And Al Horford is
all is well that ends well.
Yeah. I saw a good tweet though. I think it was grainy, and I didn't quote tweet it because what I said I know would be one for him to respond to. I think he said like, "This is the deepest Celtics team." He's like, "Is this the deepest Celtics team since 2019?" And I was like, "Maybe," but usually when you say something like that, you look back a little farther than like 2 years ago. I just thought it was really funny.
Yeah, he's not. He's not incorrect. That seems that's like a weird thing to say.
Yeah, I thought he was going to say since like the Paul Pierce era or something. Hold on. I meant to type in Greeny and I just typed in Danny Ainge.
There's a metaphor that I can make, but I think it would get me canceled.
Okay. Yeah. Don't do it. What did he say? You had a metaphor from what I just said about the Celtics being deep that would get you canceled?
I'll just say it.
Okay.
It's like being called the tallest midget.
Oh.
It's a compliment, sure. And it might be correct.
Yeah.
It's just not that impressive.
You could have said something way more cancelable than that.
Yeah.
Along the same lines. Maybe he deleted it. It was a terrible tweet. Actually, never mind. He's had like 12 tweets in the last hour. I don't have time for this. But yeah, it's like maybe. I don't know, I guess. But that's just a weird thing to put out there.
Yeah, cool. Deepest team since last year.
This is the deepest team they've had in 2 years. Like, let's go. I don't know. But I kind of agree with it. I do kind of like their roster.
Yeah.
I'd like it better, when Jaylen Brown and Al Horford are back. So some would say getting the virus is even better than being vaccinated. Can't get it twice. And we don't know the long-term effects of the vaccine. So great move. Really good move. I'm sure Tatum would agree.
I think Neesmith's been good in the preseason. So I'm really looking forward to seeing how him and Pritchard do in the regular season.
Oh, me too.
Those two are honestly the two I'm most intrigued by.
I'd say Romeo too. A healthy Romeo Langford. Really,
I could eat a lot of crow on Romeo Langford because I have not been like his biggest fan.
Oh,
I haven't
like
shit on him or anything, but
he's been out.
Yeah, so I was just like, move on. But it sounds like
I'll give him a year. Yeah, definitely give him a year. It's not like N'Keal Harry. I was ready to move on last year. Like I don't have any more chances. Actually, I think they probably came up around the same time. Is this Langford's third year? No, probably fourth. It's his third year?
Third, yeah.
So he's on the same time frame as N'Keal Harry. In a football sense, it's like Jerry Rice compared to N'Keal Harry, as far as Romeo Langford on the court. So I do like their depth. Excuse me. I'm curious to see how a veteran like Al Horford plays into the mix when he's back, COVID negative. Tatum, I already said, I think is a dark horse MVP candidate. I think they're going to hover around the 3 or 4 seed. I think them and Miami are going to make jumps this year. I think we talked about this last time. Who's falling out of the playoffs? Maybe the Knicks. No, maybe who was like towards the end of the playoff seed last year?
Oh, I forget that it's that fucking play-in situation still.
Yeah, I don't want to.
Not still, but I forget that. That's
Washington. Yeah, Washington was the 8th seed. I do. Yeah, if we're involved in the play-in, I'll call it a disappointing season. That's like this year with the Patriots are probably going to be week 17 is probably going to be a meaningful game, which isn't a good sign.
Mm-hmm.
So I hope that's not the case here. Who do you like in the finals this year?
Lakers.
Remember, one from the East, one from the West. You always screw this up.
Sure. Lakers and Clippers are not in this. They're in the same conference.
Same building, but yes.
Okay. Damn it.
It's okay. Take your time.
I'm gonna say Lakers and I think the Nets still find a way to get there.
Yeah.
With or without Kyrie, because Harden was also injured last year. So him having like a full healthy season under his belt, I'm pretty sure he's motivated and
he's the only one who seems like he's all business this offseason.
Yeah.
Seriously. Like KD I stand by Kyrie, blah, blah, blah. We'll do what we need to do. You saw the Harden one, and he's like, nah, I haven't talked to him. Like he's focused on winning.
Mm-hmm.
He's not like in the LeBron camp of like, I need to win, but if he wants to get a ring, it's with the Nets.
Yeah.
Like it's with this team. And I do think he wants to get a ring. I've been kind of tough on Harden before, but like kind of taking a step back and looking at it, like James Harden is awesome. Like James Harden is very good.
Yeah.
And I think I don't want to see him go down as one of those great players I think that sucks. Like those players who go down as great players without a ring.
Mm-hmm.
Like that really doesn't help anyone. Like Barkley, probably Chris Paul, Melo,
Patrick Chewing.
I don't mind about that. But it's like you look at the three I just named, I don't think all three of them are going to get a ring. So they all kind of need to win around this time. I think Harden's clearly the best player out of those three, but I think Harden also probably has the best chance of getting. Well, maybe Melo technically has the best chance of getting one, but yeah, I like James Harden this year. I'm curious to see what he does. Keeps his head on his shoulder. One thing that always blows my mind, like if I go a long time without seeing a James Harden interview, I often forget how truly ridiculous his beard is. Like for someone who plays pro basketball. That interview when they asked him if he talked to Kyrie and he said no, his beard looked ridiculoly long there.
His beard was the one that answered the question.
Yeah, it was like going past his zipper, like on his like sweatshirt. That's wild.
He had it pulled over the mic.
Yeah. I think it's almost kind of, I would assume at this point, he understands it's like part of his brand. Maybe kind of like Anthony Davis's unibrow. I can't imagine it's something where it's like, you know, if I shave, like I'm not going to get any bitches or anything like that. I can't be helping him in that category.
No.
It certainly can't be helping him logistically playing the game of basketball. That must be so annoying. Like, I know you've never really like had, you know, a lot of facial hair, but I've gotten to the point where I've had like a lot of pretty scruff. It's annoying. Like I hate it. I can't imagine playing a basketball at the highest level with like a 6-inch beard coming off my chin. It's not like it's like a birth defect. Like that's a voluntary thing he's choosing to keep. I used to say the same thing with like Ricky Williams as a running back with like dreads down to like your shoulders.
Yeah.
It does look cool. I'll give him that. It does look cool, but that can't possibly help you logistically on the field. I bet he's probably lost 100 yards in his career simply due to his hair just getting like pulled back.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say games.
No, maybe, I don't know, but it's also like wide receivers and corners wearing like chains outside their jersey.
Yeah,
like the Aqib Talib Michael Crabtree thing. Like why? Like that can't possibly help you. You're asking to get your chain yanked off, and it's probably $500,000.
Do you remember I think it was a running back who got his dreads yanked off?
Yeah, I do.
And whoever tackled him,
he got like scalped. That was awesome.
Whoever tackled him walked away.
Yeah, I'm on it.
Just looked like he had a couple snakes in his hand,
he looked like yeah, that was bad. How can I search for this? NFL running back dreads ripped off. Have you seen Inglourious Bastards?
I haven't. Is there a football scene?
No, but the premise is the Inglourious Bastards are the like Jewish soldiers who hunt Hitler and the Nazis, and what they do to like their goal is like kill Nazis and scalp, like they collect scalps.
Oh,
so
okay.
they literally just yank Nazi
Hell
scalps.
Yeah.
Pretty awesome. Jason Babin rips out Andre Ellington's dreadlocks. Yep, that's exactly the one. Andre Ellington had a nice head of hair on him.
He ripped the dreads right out of Andre Ellington's head. I didn't even realize it, but they were...
Great call by this announcer. Hold on. This is like a local sport. Listen to this call.
Yeah.
Ellington, late in the third quarter of Sunday's game against the Cardinals, he ended up with a lot more than your average tackle. He ripped the dreads right out of Andre Ellington's head. I didn't even realize it, but they were stuck to my glove, Babin said.
That is so savage. Ripped them right out of his head.
I didn't even know I had him.
Dude, this is fucked. He had like sticky gloves on. Yeah.
Was walking back to the huddle and said, "What is this?" Didn't even realize it, but
hey, what is this? Takes them off like, oh my god.
What the hell are
like
these?
A little kid getting like a lollipop stuck to their gloves. Oh boy. But that's what should happen. Like you're at like, what do you expect a defender to do? Like work around your dreads? Like, no.
What? Oh, what a problem to have.
Very problematic hairstyle back in the days. I can't imagine, like, I just picture like the running backs coach seeing you come into the meeting every day, just being like, just fucking, you're not making my job any easier. Like, I can recommend a barber. But I don't know.
Let me guess, you want me to call the halfback draw a little bit more this week, huh?
Yeah. Oh, man. I've never had that problem personally.
Mm-mm.
We'll wrap up here. I know we're going a little bit. So we'll probably talked a good 10 minutes of NBA preview today. So that's good. Yeah, Lakers are going to the finals. I might go Bucks. I don't know. To your point, I think Giannis is on a mission. I love Giannis. I love NBA Finals Giannis, so I'll take that all day. I hope he goes back. I hope he goes back and is just as happy as he was last year. Kind of like Giannis for MVP. I just think probably Luka, especially if the Mavericks are good, which I think they can be. If LeBron averages 25 points a game and really, really hammers that washed king hashtag, I think he can make a name for himself. It's going to be his campaign.
Mm-hmm.
You know, a lot of I can envision a lot of tweets, a lot of like Bleacher Report LeBron highlights with him quote tweeting, "Not bad for a 36-year-old." I can see a lot of those incoming.
Yeah.
Not bad for a washed up kid from Akron. I can see a lot of those incoming. I think that might help sway the voters. So, I'll go LeBron. Clean sweep LeBron. MVP, finals MVP.
And sixth man.
And sixth man. Correct. Yeah. So say the Raptors don't make the playoffs. Who does Drake ride with this year? That's the big question.
Oh.
Remember when he literally covered his like Warriors tattoo or like his Steph Curry tattoo during the finals?
Yeah.
Oh boy.
Okay, he's such a whore.
He is really a little slut. He is.
I don't know, because at this point now he's friends with Giannis, or at least he's mentioned him in a song. If somehow the fucking Heat made it,
he
loves Miami.
That's easy money. Yeah, easy money. I'm trying to think of a case for him to come on Boston. I don't think he has much of a case for Boston.
No,
unless he's like randomly friends with like Ime Udoka or something. But I can't really see any natural connection.
Mm-mm.
I still think some of the funniest photos of all time are Drake literally in Kentucky warmups, like in a layup line. I still don't understand quite the context around that.
Dude, and then I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand how that wasn't some sort of like NCAA thing.
Yeah.
Like if you have a millionaire rapper in warm-up lines with you, I think a natural connect of the dot is he's giving these people money as well.
There has at least
at a minimum, he's giving them all sneakers. If not buying their mom a house. Like there's got to be. I'm not like an FBI agent or a detective, but that seems like a lead. If my job is to like bust an NCAA violation, I'd bring Drake in for questioning.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway,
he had Kawhi in the video, so Clippers.
Oh, Clippers. I'm gonna go Clippers. Way too sexy, Kawhi. That was a weird time in music and sports. A weird time for music and sports to come together. All right, yeah. Let's get out of here. We got Red Sox baseball, Nets, Lakers are tonight too, right?
Yeah. I'm looking forward to that.
Again, if you want to see our Kraken thoughts, that's on the Patreon and Kraken.com. Lead writer for Kraken.com. I'll have my column up in the morning. And
hey, hit your deadline, please. You've been a little late on the last few.
I know. I
don't want to have
Seattle time zone. Yeah, it's those late games. I will say, bro, like those, all kidding aside, those jerseys do look clean as fuck anytime those come out. That team probably stinks. I haven't really kept up with them as much as I say I do, but those jerseys,
you have the hat, right?
Slap. Oh yeah,
great hat.
And the Kraken in my backyard. the replica Kraken. All right. Anything else from you before we sign off?
That's the original Squid Game.
Yeah, you should watch Squid Game before it's not a thing anymore, so we can talk about it. It's really
I can do that.
All right, it's this up and coming show. You should check it out. I referred it to someone on Facebook the other day. All right, we'll be back later this week. See you guys next time. Peace.